All the king's men, MAGA leaders cabinet. Welcome to Law and Society. Please subscribe and let's briefly talk about it. At the outset, I want to say something that is very serious to me. Looking at it from afar, what it looks like is that Donald Trump is setting our country up for failure in case there is a major domestic or international crisis anytime in the next 4 years. And why do I say that? Because of his different picks for his cabinet. When you have him say something along the lines of Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy are going to take over an extra governmental uh, uh, position in something to do with efficiency. That's crazy and out there, and that's whatever. They're going to influence Donald Trump no matter what, and so at least now we know there are two heads to the Department of Efficiency for Donald Trump. Talking about because two heads is far more efficient than one. One is such a lonely number. Uh, but that's still okay. That's okay. We can deal with that. Secretary of State Marco Rubio. Yeah, okay, fine. We can deal with. We can. Okay, we can see that a little bit. But then you get Hegseth for Department of Defense. This person has been Fox and Friends weekend host, Fox and Friends morning weekend host for the last 10 years or so. He has served in the military, which goes to his credit. But other than that, his position on the military is that women should not hold combat positions in the military, or I don't think that he wants women to be in the military. His personal life involves several marriages and several children from several women, which he has in common with Donald Trump and Elon Musk. Not JD Vance, at least not yet. Uh, so, but then we get this person who has never been in government, no idea how to move the levers of government. Should there be some sort of a military emergency, global emergency, or crisis, this person does not have any functional uh, sort of knowledge, working knowledge of how that works. To go from, Lloyd Austin, who's a retired general, to Hegseth is kind of like owning the libs at the cost of our democracy and the strength of our country to the world. Don't forget that. And that's why I will keep on repeating that I believe that Donald Trump is setting us up for failure. And this is exactly what Vladimir Putin wants. Vladimir Putin wanted to see America crumble from the inside out, just like Soviet Union did, because he blames the United States for the dissolution of the Soviet Union, not the authoritarianism that he has employed and continues to employ to this day, but rather the call for democracy is what broke up the Soviet Union. That's that's as far as you can go to stretch the truth. But that is the animosity that Putin has against the US, and that is coming through with you seeing Donald Trump making these appointments of unqualified people. I mean, I don't know what foreign policy or diplomatic experience Marco Rubio has, but that Marco Rubio has at least been a senator and was at least sane before he broke his backbone and bowed down to Donald Trump and had some sense. There's some sense to that. But then you go to Hegseth for Department of Defense, the one of the most important departments for the American government and for global security. You think about it. Then you have Tulsi Gabbard, who parrots Kremlin's talking points on a daily basis, to be the director of national intelligence, the ODNI. I mean, the Office of Director of National Intelligence is the one who oversees every single intelligence agency in the United States, including FBI, CIA, NSA, whatever else is out there that that is an intelligence operation. And to give it to somebody who has never had any intelligence experience, somebody who regularly caters to conspiracy theories, and who I mean, is utterly unqualified to be the head, the director of national intelligence, is it's baffling and confounding. And just as you are about to pick up your jaw from the floor, you get the news that Matt Gaetz has been nominated as to be the Attorney General designate, and you're like, wow. I have never talked about Matt Gaetz, nor have I talked about any of his other escapades and his alleged pedophilia. But Matt Gaetz does not have any sort of prosecutorial experience. He went from private practice to politician. So where is the interest of the Department of Justice without fear or favor? You hand it over to a guy who was on the edge of getting a report from an ethics investigation from the House, and right before that, he gets picked as AG, and he immediately resigns from the House, and thereby the House doesn't have any jurisdiction. So Republicans may even, most likely, will cover up this whatever they found out about Matt Gaetz, and that man is going to be the head of the Department of Justice. You come from Merrick Garland, who, by the way, I today very openly blame for delaying Donald Trump's criminal conspiracy prosecution, which is the reason why we're here today. And but there's enough blame to go around there. But the point is, Merrick Garland ably prosecuted thousands of people who broke the law. There were a lot of achievements made during Merrick Garland's tenure. And whether you like it or not, he was the chief judge, I believe, of the District of Columbia, the appellate court for the District of Columbia, if I'm not mistaken. So coming from that to Matt Gaetz, you wonder what happens with the competency of the entire department. So here you have the Secretary of State designate with no experience in international diplomacy. You have a Director of National Intelligence who regularly peddles and amplifies Russian Kremlin talking points. You have a Department of Defense Secretary who has no experience in the running of the Department of Defense. And you have Matt Gaetz doing the DOJ. To say, it's comical and people are going to laugh about it. There's going to be internal strife, and that's going to give us some tidbits to news about. But the truth of the matter is, Donald Trump is dismantling our country from the inside out. He's setting us up for failure should something happen globally and domestically. And this is the time, and I mark my words, this is the time that the American dream starts to wane. We will rise again, but it'll take time because we are getting further and further away from keeping our own national security safe to being impartial in the deliverance of justice without fear or favor. We are compromising our national security to a conspiracy theorist. That sets our country up for failure, and that does people like Vladimir Putin a great service. I wouldn't be surprised if Ukraine has to give up parts of its self to be able to end the war, because Donald Trump is not going to ask Putin to give up those sections that he has aggressively invaded and conquered. He's not going to go after the plight of Gazans as much as the Arab and the Muslim communities thought in our election time, during our election. He's going to let the Israeli government do whatever they want. And then you have people like Homan, who under oh wow, I don't know how I forgot this. Who under the Department of Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem, governor of South Dakota, what experience she has in Department of Homeland Security that oversees um, even FEMA and emergency services and our border security. And I don't know. She's in South Dakota. She's in a landlocked state, like not just landlocked, country law. So what is her governance experience on that? And then you have Homan, who's going to be the border czar, who is happy to separate, happy to send full families back if they don't want to separate the families. So people who they call insultingly anchor babies who are born to immigrant parents, apparently if the immigrant parents have something wrong with their immigration status, they will be deported. And if this citizen, birthright citizen of immigrants, chooses to be with their family, they have to leave their country where they are eligible to be president because they have birthright citizenship. I mean, that is the parade of clowns that we have. And it may be funny, and I'm saying this again, it may be funny, it may be laughable, there may be jokes, there may be salacious details and scandals, but remember the overarching theme. Donald Trump is destroying our country from the inside, and he's setting us up for failure. We have a lot of departments that are still, unstaffed, or he hasn't picked anybody yet. And I'm sure that it's very likely that Donald Trump will even part ways with some of these people that he's nominated as being not extreme enough, and then put in acting. Oh, but that wouldn't be necessary because now he wants to do recess appointments so that Senate Majority Leader Thune has agreed to adjourn Senate so he can make recess appointments, so he doesn't need to get the approval of the Senate and the investigation and the vetting and all of that. He just gets to name his secretaries during the recess appointments, and that's about it. You have to think about how much of a breach this is of American norms, American history and tradition, American security, global security, and to what extent our country has come. Today, we have a single party government in the United States, and that includes a 6-vote majority in the Supreme Court, a majority in both houses of Congress, and the presidency. I don't remember the last time this happened, but the direction in which it is going will start to pinch the wallets of people who did not understand what Donald Trump and his posse will bring. They are going to feel it in the wallets. They're going to feel it in their community. They're going to feel it in every single news that you get. There's going to be story and story after deprivation of rights of women. There's going to be doctors who violate their Hippocratic oath so as to not violate the law by helping women when they are in danger for their lives. There's going to be a carnage that our country has not yet experienced. And I want you to be prepared for that. And I want you to pay attention to that because the electorate picked this. And now the electorate has to live with it. But that said, thank you for listening. Please like and subscribe, or don't like, I don't care. But do share and get the word out that Donald Trump is setting us up for failure. And he knows that he's doing it. And I wouldn't jump to say that he's doing it at Vladimir Putin's bidding, but Vladimir Putin is probably the happiest man on earth now and will be for at least the next 4 years. With that said, Take care.